Welcome in. This is Chiefs Chase, and my name is Mike Bassano. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of your day with me as the Kansas City Chiefs are 6-0. They win today in San Francisco against the 49ers 28-18.
So look at his eyes, and even that little pump fake, he probably pump fakes more than any quarterback in the league, and because they know he can throw that, Winters comes in a little high out of control. Reminds me so much of the 10.
And we found out today exactly what this Chiefs team is, what their identity is as a football team, and I'll tell you what that is in just a moment. But first, weirdly, I need to open with Tom Brady. Tom Brady called the game today, and he said something about the Chiefs that was absolutely spot on at the end. But Tom Brady as a broadcaster, I love him. I don't know what everybody's complaining about. He tells a lot of interesting stories. He adds a lot to the game. He never goes, I don't know, Jim. So he's got that going for him, which is nice. And at the end of the game, Tom Brady said, and the Chiefs will continue to find a way to win with whoever's out there. And that was a 100% spot-on quote by Tom Brady that rang in my ears beautifully. Because this is a team that just keeps finding a way to win. And their identity is winning ugly. That's what this Chiefs team is. Every week, we're 6 games in. The Chiefs are the only undefeated team left in the NFL as the Vikings lost to the Lions. And we sit here and try to identify what it is that they need to fix, what issues they have. We'll get to all of that today, by the way. But the number one thing to keep in mind is these guys are decimated by injuries, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Yet still, they put up 28 points against a great San Francisco 49ers defense, and they just find ways to win. This is a gritty team. It's a hard-nosed team. This isn't some kind of fly-by-night pretty football team that we thought it was going to be when the season began. Hollywood Brown, Rashee Rice, both of them are gone. So now the Chiefs are just a locked-in, gritty team. That's awesome. And Tom Brady was 100% right. Couldn't stand him as a quarterback. I hated the Patriots then. I hate the Patriots now. And nothing is ever going to change that. However, as a broadcaster today, I thought he did a phenomenal job with the Chiefs game. And that quote, the Chiefs find a way to win with whoever's out there. That's just right on the money. Now, the Chiefs have one player who can take games over completely by himself and change everything. I will tell you who that is here in just a moment. But first, the top story of the game, feed Kareem. That's the top story of the game to me. Kareem Hunt at running back came in. The guy was on the couch a month ago. And now not only is he a dynamic running back for the Kansas City Chiefs, he is oftentimes carrying the team. He's carrying the brunt of the load. Today, remember 2 weeks ago against the Saints, he carried the ball 27 times. Today, he carried the ball 22 times for 78 yards and 2 tutties. Now, that's only 3.5 yards per carry, but those were tough yards, man. That San Francisco 49ers defense is nothing to snub your nose at. That is a great defense. 28 points against the San Francisco 49ers defense is something you can hang your hat on. Absolutely. 28? Here's the deal. If you give Spags a 28-point cushion, he's usually going to win you the football game. That's the beauty of having a phenomenal defense in Kansas City. 28 points against anybody is usually going to get you the win. And that's what the Chiefs are dealing with right now. 28 points, killing it, crushing life, and beating the San Francisco 49ers. And that staple of the offense now, Kareem Hunt, I'm so proud of him and what he's been able to accomplish with the Kansas City Chiefs, how good he's been in every single facet. This guy came off the street, a little bit out of shape, a little thick, and since then he's done nothing but put the team on his back and get tough yardage after tough yardage after tough yardage. There are so many plays where it looks like Kareem Hunt should be dead to rights. And then he squeaks out 3 or 4 yards to keep positive plays going. Keeping the drive on track is everything in this league. And what Kareem Hunt has been able to do for the Kansas City Chiefs, keeping those drives on track, moving the ball forward, making sure he gets positive yardage on a consistent basis. That, my friends, is exactly what we're talking about. Kareem Hunt, to me, is the number one story of this team. He's the number one story of the offense. He's what everybody should be looking to, because without him, I'm a little horrified to think what this offense would be. The Chiefs' offense has enough issues, right? They have enough problems in every single facet, right? Whether it's offensive line, wide receivers, running backs. There are problems across the board on this offense, mostly entirely because of injury. Kareem Hunt coming in and erasing one of those problems, becoming what looks to be a bell cow running back. I mean, it's 20 plus carries a game. How else would you term it? A bell cow running back. Kareem Hunt is keeping this offense moving. There are a lot of things to discuss, but the number one thing to me, number one thing for this team is feed Kareem. I believe Kareem Hunt is the greatest midseason acquisition in the history of Brett Veach's career as Chiefs general manager, and he has had some damn good ones. Kadarius Toney, yeah, it didn't work out long term, but in 2022, that was a hell of a midseason ad. Mike Pennell, last year, defensive tackle, and that's just a couple on a long list of in-season acquisitions that have been very successful in the Brett Veach era in Kansas City. But when it's all said and done, I think Kareem Hunt is the greatest addition we've ever seen. This guy was tossed away by every team in the NFL. 31 other teams didn't pick him up. He started the season without a team. And now he's with Kansas City, and he's carrying the offense. 22 carries. I mean, he's a bell cow running back. Nobody could have possibly predicted Kareem Hunt being this impactful this early. That's what's so wild, man. It's not just that, oh, Kareem Hunt's this really impactful running back, and he is. He's this really impactful running back that's crushing while also just coming off the street. I don't know anybody that would have envisioned that, but here we are. Kareem Hunt, feed Kareem. That's what the Chiefs need to do to continue this and keep their offense moving, because you don't have to put up 50 points. You have Spags. You don't need 50 points put up when you have Spags on the defensive side. So keep feeding Kareem Hunt. It's that simple. And the Chiefs keep doing it, and they keep winning. That puts the Chiefs at 6-0. I love it. There's so much to get to, man. So much to get to. All right, the Chiefs, they have one quality on this team that really saved Andy Reid today. It really saved him a lot. We'll get to that here in just a moment. But first, the Chiefs have one player who can take over everything, no matter how bad it looks, and that player is Patrick Mahomes. What an incredible drive when it was 14-12 and the Chiefs needed a touchdown to really put the dagger in the San Francisco 49ers to really pull away in that game. And Pat Mahomes put the team on his back. He had the long run down the sideline, the longest of his career, and that was beautiful. Very reminiscent of the 2020 AFC Championship game against the Tennessee Titans, the out-of-this-world run, as Jim Nantz coined. That looked very similar, and then the truck stick at the goal line. What an absolute beast Patrick Mahomes is. To bowl over Mustafa, crush the dreams of the 49ers, and do it with his legs. Mahomes is not a fast guy. He also runs a little weird. He knows this. But when the game comes down to the line where you have to make it happen, there has to be a big play. You have to do it. Mahomes just does it. And it's so interesting that he plays that way, because he obviously oftentimes doesn't put himself in position to be hurt. Yet in this situation, he knows it's time. It's time to go win. It's time to put your body on the line, lay it out there, and give everything you have. And that's what makes Patrick Mahomes so special, so much better than every other quarterback in the NFL. Tom Brady had it when he was playing. Certain guys throughout history have had it when they're playing. Joe Montana is high up on that list, where it doesn't matter what's going on, John Elway. It doesn't matter how good your team is or how poorly you're playing or what the score is. When the game is on the line and all the chips are out there and you have to make something happen, Patrick Mahomes consistently is the guy that makes things happen. And he does it in such a way that you're like, my God, has there ever been a more gritty quarterback in the history of football? DeBerg popped his finger back in place after the... But still, when you're talking about the most gritty quarterbacks of all time, you have to talk about Patrick Mahomes. People don't want to, right? They're like, oh, Mahomes is a crybaby. This is what happens when you're successful. People want to come for you. They want to take the shots. That's what everybody does. They want to take the shots. They want to come for you when you're number one. Patrick Mahomes, no different. People will say all these things about the refs, about the crying, about the brother, about the wife, whatever. The bottom line is, Patrick Mahomes is one of the most gritty, tough gamers in the history of the NFL. And that was on full display today against the San Francisco 49ers. What a run to get into scoring range, right down to the 4-yard line. And then what a truck stick at the goal line on 4th down. That's a guy putting the team on his back, dude. He put them on his back and said, you know what? None of this matters. My stats, numbers, forget all of that. Put the ball in the end zone. That's what we need to do. Well, I'm going to go do it. And that is what the Chiefs have. A secret, not a secret weapon, because Patrick Mahomes couldn't be further from a secret, but a weapon that you can deploy at any time. And that's what makes the Chiefs such an unstoppable force. A weapon you can deploy at any time like Patrick Mahomes. Do you have any idea what other teams in the NFL would give to have this kind of quarterback? Thank your lucky stars every single day that the Chiefs get to have Patrick Mahomes, that we get to have this beautiful football player who carries our dreams. Because without him, man, it's just crazy. The amount of faith I think every person in the fan base, every person on the team, every person in Chiefs Kingdom has in Patrick Mahomes. And they should, because he is just that good. One guy that can take the game over. Also, something that we haven't talked about enough when it comes to this. We're not moving on from Pat yet. I got plenty to go. Patrick Mahomes is a tough SOB, man. He is a tough son of a gun, and not enough people talk about that. I know there's been some made of it, like during the Super Bowl against the Eagles because of the ankle injury, but that was only because Mahomes was in a moment where he was going through something with an ankle. There have been plenty of other times where Mahomes has been tough, gritty, taking hits, lowering the shoulder and booming Mustafa. That's going to be a moment we're going to talk about all season long. Truck stick Mahomes. That's what I'm calling him from now on. You can call Pat Mahomes whatever you want to call him. For the rest of his days, for me, Patrick Mahomes is known as Truck Stick Mahomes. Not enough is made about how tough Patrick has been, how durable Patrick has been, and his ability to take games over with his legs, not even as a really fast guy, just take games over with his legs and run roughshod over the other team. 41 yards rushing for Patrick Mahomes today, and every one of them very crucial. A lot of crucial yards today. In fact, one Chiefs player is beginning to emerge with the makings of a star. And I can't believe I'm going to say this, who this player is. I'll get to that in just a few minutes. But first, the Chiefs have one quality that saved Andy Reid today. Andy Reid likes to get cute. We know that. We know that as a collective of Chiefs fans. Andy Reid likes to get cute. It's his favorite thing to do. But what saves him with this team is you have a pack of winners. Pack of winners around the coaching staff, pack of winners around the team. So even when Andy makes a play call that we might call, I don't want to be overly critical, but it's hard to term anything other than asinine when you are 4th and 1, almost to midfield, and you roll out your punt team, and everybody in the world is going, wait, why wouldn't you go for it on 4th and 1? So just by understanding that logic, the 49ers knew the Chiefs had a really good chance of faking that punt. And then what do you know? Andy Reid fakes the punt, stuffed. 49er football. That was that was an infuriating moment because it didn't make any sense. If you're playing chess, and football is 100% chess, especially amongst the coaches, a move that early, that's not just a risky move, but a predictable move at the same time. You can't have moves that are that predictable when you're the Kansas City Chiefs, because everyone's going to see it. I'd rather the Chiefs had just lined up and gone for it. Put Carson Steele back there. Put Kareem Hunt back there. Run a pull. Put him right behind Travis Kelce and let the aircraft carrier blow open a hole for you. And then did the first down. To me, a fake punt there was just the dumbest idea imaginable. But it doesn't matter. What bails Andy Reid out in these situations is that he has straight up winners. Because if you remember, shortly after, when the 49ers got the ball back, Justin Reid comes up with a big time interception. That's so important to note. When you see a guy like Justin Reid, who's just like, an all-out baller, right? That is Justin Reid. He is an all-out baller, just a playmaking machine. And he makes that play in a dire moment, right? That's a dire moment, because the momentum had shifted, and it was early momentum, granted, but it had shifted well towards the 49ers. That's what happens when you run a fake punt and you don't get it. Ask the Houston Texans in the playoffs back in 2020. When you run a fake punt and Dirty Dan Sorensen blows it up, it has the chance to completely shift the game. So that is a dire moment. And Justin Reid comes up with a pick. That's what this team has. It has guys who are championship caliber football players. And that right there, by itself, saved Andy Reid. Saved him from scrutiny, saved him because it doesn't matter. Oh, you didn't get it? Doesn't matter. Got the ball back like 2 plays later. Doesn't matter that you didn't get the punt, the fake punt. So those are the things that sort of save Andy when he gets a little too cute. And I love Andy Reid. Andy Reid's one of, if not the greatest football coach in the history of time. We're talking about a guy that might be the greatest coach to ever breathe air. But he does have his faults. And sometimes, whether it's in the red zone or on 4th down, Andy Reid likes to get just a little too cute. That was one of them. But when you have great championship caliber players, it can really bail you out of that mess. All right, we have a ton. Oh, by the way, another one, because I was talking about the players that can make it up. The Justin Reid one was huge, but also, do you remember the play where Cowing, the wide receiver for the 49ers, got behind the defense? Some miscommunication happened, or maybe it was just a great play by the Niners. But either way, Cowing gets behind the defense, makes a huge chunk play, and suddenly we're like, oh no. But then what happens? George Karlaftis does a beautiful spin move to the inside and gets to Brock Purdy at the last second, causing a bad pass that's picked off by Hill. Chiefs football. Those are the kind of things. And, that was a breakdown in coverage, but really, and it's not necessarily about Andy, but it does still speak to the moment that you're going to have plays that don't work out. You're going to have plays that just they aren't going to pan out the way you want. But when you have impact championship players like the Kansas City Chiefs have, impact championship caliber guys like George Karlaftis, then they can come back and they can make up for those breakdowns. They can make up for the miscues. That's what separates championship teams from non-championship teams, because everybody is going to make a mistake. Everybody is going to screw something up. That's part of life. It's part of football. But when you have the guys that can make up for it on the next play, oh, baby, that's how you get rings. Now, there's one position group the Chiefs have that people just aren't talking about, but they should be, because they've become dominant. We'll tell you who that is here in just a moment. But first, one Chiefs player beginning to emerge with the makings of an actual star. And I can't believe it because that man is Mecole Hardman. I'll be the first to say, when Mecole Hardman left for the New York Jets, I thought, well, this is probably for the best for everybody, right? Mecole Hardman's a very talented player, but he seems to have some emotional issues, especially early on, which that happens. Travis Kelce had a lot of emotional issues too. It's not something that doesn't happen, but it felt like, okay, this is probably for the best for everyone. Then Mecole Hardman comes back. By the way, another great Brett Veach addition in the mid-season. You could argue it maybe his best. I'd still stick with Kareem Hunt, but I'd say maybe his best because the guy caught the game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl. He caught a walk-off touchdown to end the NFL season. You got to give a little bit of credit to Mecole Hardman for that. But today, getting him on the end around, getting him in space, we saw what Mecole Hardman could be on this offense. A guy that's speed is utilized in such a way that he can be explosive across the field, explosive for the Chiefs on a play-in, play-out basis. I love watching Mecole Hardman run. He has a certain fluidity to his running style that is one of the more incredible things that I think I've ever seen on a football field. And that's why you keep him around. That's why he's still in the NFL. What, he's like year 6 or 7? He's still around because he has a dynamic playmaking ability that's incredibly hard to find in the NFL. And he's got it, baby. He's got it in absolute spades. And I'm telling you, he's emerging. That's part of what happens on this team. I call it the Albert Wilson effect. Albert Wilson played in the first game that Patrick Mahomes ever started. It was the last game of the season. I think it was in Denver. I know it was against the Broncos. I'm pretty sure it was in Denver. And Albert Wilson went off. He had like 9 catches for 180 yards because Patrick Mahomes was playing quarterback for the first time. And they didn't have any starters in because they were resting everybody for the playoffs. So then Wilson went on to get a monster contract in Miami. Didn't really do much with it, but that's what I now call the Albert Wilson effect. Guys come to Kansas City and they get big contracts elsewhere because of Patrick Mahomes. Demarcus Robinson, Juju Smith-Schuster, the list goes on and on and on. But the point of all that is Mecole Hardman, I think, is becoming a guy that understands this is the system for him. You know, when these guys leave, whether it be Mecole or Kareem, and then they come back and they understand the importance of playing in a championship culture, guys. Why do you think Tyreek Hill is posting pictures of him and Patrick Mahomes together? Why do you think these guys miss Kansas City so much after they leave? It's because there's a championship culture. And when you're drafted to it, you don't quite appreciate it. You don't quite appreciate when you're Tyreek Hill or Mecole Hardman or whoever, Kareem Hunt, when you're drafted into a culture. But then when you leave that culture, you have to go play for the Dolphins or the Jets or the Browns. You start to appreciate what the Chiefs are. And they're a dynamic, championship caliber culture in every single possible way. And that's got to get you fired up, man. It gets me fired up. I'm sitting here thinking about all the different ways we could use Kareem Hunt and Mecole Hardman, create a nice little 1-2 punch, because Hardman coming around the edge, that's something beautiful. And then when you have Xavier Worthy doing the same thing, I mean, this team is decimated with injuries, and you would never know it. Decimated. Isaiah Pacheco, Hollywood Brown, Rashee Rice. It's all right. We got Kareem Hunt, Mecole Hardman, Xavier Worthy. Where's the fall off? Where's the fall off? It's not coming. And that's the beauty of this. Chiefs score 28 points with that offense against that 49ers defense. That's an incredibly impressive feat for anybody. Now, Mecole Hardman could be a massive spark for this team offensively, especially after Juju Smith-Schuster went down with an hamstring injury. An unfortunate situation for Juju. This is a big Juju show. We love Juju Smith-Schuster on Chiefs Chase, so very unfortunate to see him hurt his hamstring. Hopefully, Juju can come back fast because I think he's a phenomenal addition to the team, and we're just hoping for him. I mean, 7 catches, 130 yards against the New Orleans Saints. He's got plenty in the tank. We just need to see Juju back and healthy. And also, real quickly, I do want to give Andy credit, as I'm upset about the fake punt. I do want to give him credit for his adjustment on play calling. That's something people aren't going to talk about enough either. Andy Reid adjusting on the fly as guys are dropping left and right. He has to adjust his play calling, and boy, did he. He got those guys the ball in space, guys like Xavier Worthy, McCole Hardman. When you lose players, especially mid-game, it's very difficult to overcome that. But the Chiefs were able to do that. A big credit to Andy Reid. Now, the Chiefs had a problem today that we have to discuss because I just can't take it anymore. They did. They had a problem today that is just... We'll get to it here in a couple minutes. But first, there's one position group the Chiefs have that people aren't talking about, but they absolutely should be, because that defensive line position group is absolutely phenomenal. Just a stud muffin group, man. You kidding me? Imagine being on the Chiefs defensive line right now. They should be, in my opinion, the most feared unit in the NFL. Because not only, it used to be like Chris Jones and some dudes. Now you just got killers across the line on the defensive line. George Karlaftis is becoming one of the premier pass rushers in the entire NFL. One of the premier guys, one of the elites. That's George Karlaftis. Absolute menace. And I want to see more of him. I want to see more George Karlaftis. I want to see more of that guy in the backfield. He has been, time in, time out, an absolute monster. And did you see, Matt, they couldn't get anything going on the ground for the 49ers. They had a couple of rip-offs in the second half, but for the most part, the defensive line of the Kansas City Chiefs absolutely manhandled the 49ers. Karlaftis is in the backfield, forcing bad passes, getting sacks. Everybody's getting penetration. And that running game, that is a very good running game, could not move against the defensive line. You put those two things together, man, that is a defensive group for the Chiefs, a position group for the Kansas City Chiefs that everybody should be talking about. And it makes me a little bit nuts that they're not talking about it all the time. I know there's a lot of things to get to with the Chiefs, but I'm telling you, that defensive line core is one of the best I've ever seen, and they need to be getting more recognition for what they've brought. Karlaftis is a feared pass rusher, and he absolutely should be. Now, the Chiefs have one major thing holding them back on offense that's, it's bothering Chiefs fans. It just is. We'll tell you what that is coming up in just a second. But first, the Chiefs had a problem today that we have to discuss. Because, look, winning ugly is the Chiefs' identity. It just is. And it's a problem that we have to discuss because Andy Reid being cute in the red zone is going to drive me absolutely insane. It's like, oh, we're in the red zone. It must be the perfect time for a triple reverse pass back, and then maybe we'll throw the ball to a left tackle. Just line it up, man. Just line up and run it. Like Kareem Hunt is a bruiser, right? Kareem Hunt, inside the 5, he had 2 touchdowns today inside the 5. He pushed the ball over the line. That's exactly what you have Kareem Hunt to do. That's why you pay Kareem Hunt the money that you pay him, and you get him up to the front of the line as much as you can because Kareem Hunt's just a bad man. But unfortunately, in the world that we live in, Andy Reid is just sometimes too smart for his own good. And he's always been this way. Remember that reverse pass to the 1 yard line when Travis Kelce tried to throw it to Pat Mahomes? Oh, man. That was, it's happened forever. This is who Andy Reid is. And I know you were probably expecting me to say something else, so I'll get to it. The one thing on offense that's driving Chiefs fans crazy. I don't know why Sky Moore is still here either. Tell me there's not one other guy, not one, in the entire world that can catch a pass because Sky Moore can't. I don't care what you think his upside is. I don't care if you think Sky Moore is going to have the best breakout season since Deshaun Jackson. He won't, by the way. He can't catch the ball. He can't be trusted to catch the ball. If that's the case for Sky Moore, find a guy. Go to Shawnee Mission East. You can't tell me there's not a high school player somewhere in the Kansas City area. Blue Springs, Raytown, Ray-Peck. Go up there to Ray-Peck. There's got to be a wide receiver somewhere in the area that can make a catch better than Sky Moore can. There's someone in Kansas City. Rockhurst is there. Go somewhere. I don't care who it is. Go to a middle school game. You'll find somebody the same size as him. He needs to be able to make catches. If he can't make catches, he can't play the game. I'm sorry. You have a quarterback in Patrick Mahomes that's one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of time. And you have Sky Moore? That's your guy? Sky Moore? You can't get anybody better. Not one person. Doesn't exist. No. Sky will figure it out. Not one person on the planet believes Sky Moore is going to figure this out. And why would they? Why would anybody think that Sky Moore is going to suddenly figure it out? He's not. It's over, man. It's game over, man. Game over. Move on from Sky Moore. It's time. My God. Somebody has to be able to make a catch out there, guys. Somebody. All right. There's your Sky Moore take. I mean, it's a broken record. I mean, you're telling me you can't find anyone better than Sky Moore? I was saying that during preseason. I'm sitting here like, how can you not find somebody better than Sky Moore? How is that even realistic? But here we are. Sky Moore experiment continues, and it continues. Now, we're going to end you with this as the Chiefs win, going 6-0, winning 28-18 against the San Francisco 49ers. We'll end with this. There's one player in Kansas City who's doing much better than his numbers would suggest, and that player is future Hall of Famer Travis Kelce. His stats are not phenomenal. He had 4 catches for 17 yards, but those catches were important. They were third down catches for the most part. He's also blocking very well. He's lead blocking for guys. We saw that a couple times today. He's drawing a lot of the defense. Not having Hollywood Brown, not having Rashee Rice, that means that more people are going to be focused on Travis Kelce. The harsh reality of the situation is, as long as the Chiefs are thin at playmakers, Travis Kelce will continue to get the lion's share of the attention from opposing defenses. And as long as that's happening, he's in a tough spot. And you can't really judge Travis Kelce on his numbers. You have to look at the actual games. Watch what he's doing. Watch him draw the defense away so that Hardman can get an easy catch and run. Or draw the defense away so Samaje Perine can get an easy catch and run for a first down. These are the important moments that we can't miss when it comes to Travis Kelce. We can't miss out on the fact that Travis is not only one of the best tight ends in the history of time, but he is drawing so much attention from the defense that it's opening things up for guys like Hardman. Guys are getting open. They're playing better. They're getting numbers. Juju Smith-Schuster against New Orleans. A lot of the reason why these guys are getting open and getting numbers and the offense is moving is because of the amount of attention that Travis Kelce is getting. So I don't want to hear this blasphemous stuff about how Travis Kelce's fallen off or he's washed, because none of it's true. If you're actually watching the game and not just reading the stat books like an effing nerd, then you would know that Travis Kelce is garnering so much attention and doing so many other things that he is one of the most underrated players in the NFL when it comes to what his stats look like versus what his actual play is. Travis Kelce is having a really good year. It's just not showing up on the stat sheet. And that's frustrating for Travis. I'm sure it's frustrating for Swifties. But in reality, all that you really should care about, and Travis would never say it's frustrating for him. By the way, Travis would never be like, oh, I can't. We're 6-0, but I'm not getting enough targets. He's not going to say that. But I'm sure internally, yeah, he wishes he had more yards. Yeah, he wishes he got into the end zone. I mean, he's human, right? But the fact is, he's doing so many other things to help this team, and at 6-0, how could you possibly be like, well, there's a problem? No, there's not a problem. Travis Kelce is doing exactly what he's supposed to do. He's gained a bunch of attention. The Chiefs put up 28 points against the San Francisco 49ers en route to a win and en route to a 6-0 record. The only undefeated team in the entire NFL. So in no world should Travis Kelce change what he's doing or change who he is. No. If anything, Travis could ratchet it up a little bit. He just needs to play his game, man. And he's doing a very good job of it. So Travis Kelce, don't worry about the numbers, man. Worry about the record. And that record is 6-0, baby. The Chiefs win 28-18 in San Francisco against the 49ers. Thank you so much for joining me. This is a wrap here on Chiefs Chase postgame. Make sure you check out Chiefs Chase Midweek Blitz coming at you this midweek as the Chiefs go on to face the Raiders in Las Vegas next week. We got a lot of season left, baby, and I can't wait for it. 6-0. Woo! Have a great day.